and Health, Education, Labor Committees. Senator, it's great to see you this morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, good morning, Maria. Great show so far. I think what you're talking about, let's look at things holistically today. This is an incompetent Biden-Harris administration. And what we're seeing here is Secretary Mayorkas being contraindicated by FEMA and trying to blame their disastrous response on money. Look, what the Democrats do is they create policies, and then they want more government programs, more money to solve the problem. But at the end of the day, they're not getting the job done in North Carolina.
Yeah, but Senator, I mean, you know how this works. You've been in Washington for a long time. I mean, who makes these decisions to send billions of dollars to cities across the country to care for illegal migrants who are unvetted, number one? Who makes the decision to send $200 billion to Ukraine, okay, and then find yourself, uh-oh, the bank is almost empty at FEMA? Okay, you might say, and they might say, the Democrats, oh, no, this is a totally different program. But money is money, right? I mean, we are facing $35 trillion in debt. Okay, and that's a holistic number, to use a Kamala Harris word, $35 trillion in debt. So who makes the decisions to send the billions to care for illegal migrants and leave us so vulnerable when people have lost everything in the Carolinas?
Yeah, Maria, well, certainly I need to look at America. And Congress is responsible eventually for most of that appropriation. I would argue that the Biden-Harris administration has funneled it in different places. They took money from building the wall to help migrants out, and then they've taken money that was meant for FEMA, $1.4 billion, as you pointed out as well. But this is why we need a Republican Senate majority. Most of this funding, most of this additional debt, Kamala Harris was the deciding vote on at least $3 trillion of this debt that she's passed on to our children. But look, responsibility. I'm working on the budget process, but I need a Senate Republican majority. I need Donald Trump in the White House to accomplish that, though.
So do you believe that there's any truth to what FEMA and the Democrats are saying right now, that these are different funds, that no, it has nothing to do with the illegal migrants because FEMA has its own money and the administration did not use that money? Do you think there's any truth to that?
Yeah.
That's what FEMA is saying this morning after Alejandro Mayorkas made the mistake of telling the truth the other day that FEMA is almost out of money.
Yeah, so I need to drill down into that even deeper, but at the end of the day, I still think that this is incompetence, that FEMA and or Congress is not prioritized. That's the challenge I see with so many professional politicians, is they never prioritize where these dollars go to. Should we send $200 billion to Ukraine? How much money should we be spending across the world in the South Sea? We have to prioritize things. Meanwhile, challenge that we're seeing right now because of the Biden-Harris administration, as you just described earlier, we're seeing massive strikes because wages aren't keeping up with inflation. We're seeing mass crime increases because of their open border policies. And here we are today with their choosing to spend more money on immigrants. We're still seeing, 1,000 people across the border that are gotaways every day. Still 1,000 a day known gotaways. It's a very challenging time in America.
Yeah, challenging. How about outrageous? Let's talk priority. How about just prioritizing the American people? Okay? How about just prioritizing help for Americans first? Before $200 billion goes to Ukraine, before billions go to illegal migrants, look at America to see what American citizens need. And when I look at this new House Judiciary Committee report, I'm outraged. It found more than 1.7 million illegal migrants that they know pose a national security threat. They know they pose a national security threat. They've been encountered nationwide under this administration at the southern border. Just this year, there have been nearly 532,000 so-called special interest alien encounters. Okay, special interest alien meaning countries that are of special interest to us, like Iran. Okay, that's compared to 98,000 in 2021. New Immigrations and Customs Enforcement data, meanwhile, reveals that as of July, there were more than 425,000 illegal migrants, convicted criminals, released into the U.S. They're living outside of ICE detention. Of that number, 13,000 of them were convicted of murder. 15,000 of them were convicted of sexual assault. Senator, come on. You've joined Senator Joni Ernst's bill, the Be Gone Act, to expedite the deportation of these illegals convicted of sexual assault and aggravated sexual violence. Have your Democrat colleagues joined you in this effort? Do they care that these people are running around America? They're already convicted of murder and sexual assault.
Well, Maria, the Democrats don't want to bring attention that Kamala's holistic approach to securing the border is not working, that her open border policies have led to huge national security threats. And I still think, even though inflation is horrible, the biggest emotional issue going into this election is your family safe and secure right now? And I can tell you, even in the heartland in Kansas, people don't feel safe anymore. That there is no responsibility being taken here. To your point, don't forget the 2 million known gotaways that have crossed the border. Who are those people? We have at least 400,000 criminal aliens roaming America. And I think all of the numbers you put up there are soft numbers. I think those are very soft.
Unbelievable. And let me just underline the word known that you just said, because you're right. This 1.9 million gotaways, these are the people we've seen on surveillance camera. We know they got away. So these are the ones who got away that we know of, Senator. There are plenty more, I'm sure, that have just escaped the cameras, gotten in, and we have no idea where they are, no idea their intentions. What a mess.
Yes. Yeah, hundreds of known terrorists have been encountered on the border just this year alone. We have no idea where they are. As you pointed out earlier, there's 13,000 people that have been convicted of murder. They're illegal aliens convicted of murder. They're roaming the country right now. When Donald Trump gets in office, he's going to have a tough job, but he's the man to do it. And we need to get those folks the resources to get those illegal aliens that have committed crimes out of this country. Let's get them out yesterday.
Senator, thank you very much. Roger Marshall, we'll be watching your work, sir. Stay with us. We'll be right back.